regularly. And it's not only the troops that are transiting through this civilian airport on Ireland's west coast. We know that illegal rendition flights have stopped in Shannon Airport, and it is also suspected that the equipment for building the drones is being flown through Shannon Airport as well. This is all completely illegal. The Irish state is complicit in torture and the murder of millions of women, children and men in the Middle East. It is shameful, shameful, shameful. The Irish state is meant to be neutral, as John mentioned. We are meant to be a neutral country. Irish neutrality is a historic policy that the Irish state had since its inception. People in Ireland have very strong anti-imperialist sentiment, and for historical reasons of being a formerly colonised country, that is very, very important, that neutrality, and it is being destroyed by successive Irish governments, and that is what Margaretta D'Arcy is in prison for, on principle to highlight that is being destroyed, and we want, the vast majority of Irish people want that neutrality restored, and the vast majority of people around the world who opposed war on the people of the Middle East.
A few weeks ago, I was on a picnic line and we were fighting for our rights and our jobs. But whenever anybody in the RMT stands on a picnic line, we're not only standing for ourselves, we're standing for those who, for various reasons, are not free to stand on picket lines. We are fighting for Margaretta, who is unable to stand on a picket line. We are fighting for Palestinians who are in jail and are unable to stand on picket lines. We are standing on picket line for those who are no longer able to stand on picket lines, those who died in police custody. Whenever there is an injustice, when we stand on our picket lines, we remember them, we honour them, and we wish they were standing with us. So all of them, including Margaretta, on this day, especially Margaretta, are our brothers and sisters, and we should all stand with them in solidarity.
Well done indeed, thank you.
Later he said, England would still rule you to your ruin, even while, and I think the Irish government should listen to this, even while your lips offered hypocritical homage at the shrine of that freedom whose cause you betrayed. And what a betrayal, to hand over a civilian airport for military use by a foreign power. Qui bono, who profits?
Who said that, sorry?
James Connolly. In 1920, Terence McSweeney, Mayor of Cork, died of hunger strike in Wexford Prison. He said, "The contest on our side is not one of rivalry or vengeance, but of endurance. It is not those who can inflict the most, but those who can suffer the most that will conquer."
I'm here to say I'm an American, and I feel that Margaretta is on my side, and so do millions of other Americans who are against the war.
Yes.
They're against all of the different wars that the United States is always fighting on somebody else's soil, raining down bombs in any way they can. And you know, when people say that Margaretta is anti-American, they identify me and the working class in the United States, and the 99%, they identify us with the U.S. state. But we don't want to be identified with the U.S. state. We need more Margarettas everywhere in the world to help us defeat the state, so we can bring some of that wealth which they're raining down on other people's heads, on other mothers' heads. We want that wealth back, so that welfare mothers are not starving, so they're not cut off welfare, so that wages are not cut, so that health care is not cut, so that all the different pieces of the social safety net in the United States are not cut, which is what is happening right now. Something like, among other things, which is pretty amazing in and of itself, $100 million is being spent on food stamps for soldiers. Those same soldiers who they're sending abroad have to live on food stamps when they're at home. How absurd. And I'm delighted that Margaretta is another Irish Jewish mother against the war and against Zionism, and has come out strongly against Zionism and in protection of Palestinians. You know, for a lot of us, being Jewish meant that we had a certain tradition which opposed state violence, exactly the state violence of the Israeli government and the state violence of the United States, which the Irish government is making itself complicit in. And so for us, when the Zionists and the Israeli state try to include all Jews as part of their horror, we reject that. We're opposed to the Zionism. We're opposed to the killing and the imperialism which is destroying Palestinians and which is hiding the existence of Palestinian workers wherever they may be. And it's exactly the same in Ireland. Part of what Margaretta is saying, I will not be part of the Irish government's complicity in the crimes of the United States. Thank you.
Well done, Sam. Well done.
We're here to support Margaretta D'Arcy. She's been a fantastic campaigner for women's rights over the years. She's been in so many different struggles. There's too many to mention. But one of the things you may have been aware of this week in the media is about the inquest of Anne-Marie Element, who was a soldier who hanged herself after she was raped by several British soldiers who were colleagues of hers, and she never got justice. Worse than justice, she got bullied and she got harassed by her other colleagues, including women. And we've been working with other soldiers for quite some years now who have been furious and humiliated by being attacked by their own colleague. We've also been pointing out that the most common and the most hidden kind of sexual harassment and rape and bullying also goes on in the homes when soldiers come out of the army, when they're on leave. And also there's a hell of a lot of domestic violence, there's a lot of rape in the family, and also when we've met with women who've been in occupied territories, for example in Iraq and in Palestine, they have told us that there's a horrendous amount of sexual torture that goes on under occupation. In Berkshire, Newbury, Berkshire, and there was a massive campaign. Thousands of women from, in fact, many different parts of the world came to that campaign to try and rid the cruise missiles, the US cruise missiles, which were pointing to Russia. And we did win, which was fantastic. And Margaretta was absolutely part of that fight. Sorry.
To convey that we also want to hand in a letter from Margaretta from prison in our joy to ourselves and to highlight that there is women who are raising these concerns and women who with children and the majority of victims. So, you know, I hope that can be conveyed and that can be understood.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the shock of Irish people and people around the world that the Irish state as a neutral country would be complicit in the killing of millions of people. Okay.
Sorry, just your own name again?
My name is Maggie Rowan.
Okay. Make sure.
This is the fourth time we've actually been here, and we've handed in 3 letters previously. And we expected a response of some sort from the ambassador, or at least a chance to speak to him. When we're going to come back in 2 weeks' time, exactly this time, 11:30, or we'll probably be here about 1:45 or something. Could we make an appointment for the ambassador to actually speak to us and discuss?
2 weeks' time, is it?
Yeah.
I'll pass on that message and it should be over.
Is
Contact details or?
Yes, I can give you
The
an
Irish
email address.
Embassy in Paris, I think, received a delegation that raised
As
these
I
issues
mentioned,
there. So,
as I say, as Bangladesh are looking for changes.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, we would like to keep it cordial and calm,
No,
polite,
I
as we are at the
appreciate
moment.
that.
You know, and I'll give you email address.
I'll follow
Okay.
up.
And we'd just like to have a chat with them about this sort of person-to-person chat, as nice and calm as we are.
So,
And see how time will back. That's easier.
okay.
Okay.
Thanks
Thank you very much
much.
indeed for your time.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
now.
that. All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye now.
The next war is going to come into power, yeah.